I know why you clicked on this video. You want to see if you can save some money using a pepper grinder to grind your coffee beans. So in this video, that's exactly what we're going to do. So first thing is I want to pull it apart and see what we've got to work with. So it just unscrews, there's no clicks per se. I feel like people who grind their pepper are a little less fussy than coffee snobs. So we've got a little adjustment piece. We've got the tiniest little inner burr set, which is made of ceramics, and it's got a little plastic piece. And then very similarly to some other budget coffee grinders, such as the Rhino and whatnot, we've got a spring, a washer, I don't know if that comes out, and then we've got the inner burr set as well. I think that's as far as it sort of comes apart. Oh, there you go. So obviously to feed your pepper or coffee, you just pull it out and it goes through there. And I think this centerpiece is actually locked in place. When you're comparing coffee grinders, one of the biggest contributors to whether you have a good coffee grinder or a bad coffee grinder is the grind size distribution. And what that means is if you've got something like a blade grinder where it just spins around and it chops up lots of different chunks, and you've got small particles and large particles, when you brew that together, you're going to have the smaller ones extract faster and the larger particles extract slower. And this results in a really unbalanced tasting cup of coffee. Now, with coffee grinders, when you're talking about something that has an adjustment size, there's two things that I can see going not so good with this grinder. The first thing is because it doesn't click, it doesn't lock into place. Now that's not to say that you can't modify one of these to actually lock into place. And to be honest, it looks quite easy to do as well, seeing as all the pieces come apart. The second thing is how well this stays in place. Now, as you can see, there's quite a fair bit of wiggle room on this axle here. And just by doing that, it's gotten even looser. Now, to be fair, it's not assembled. However, I feel like this would contribute to an uneven grind size distribution. But we won't know until we try. Okay, so I've got 15 grams of coffee beans. This is what I would consider to be a light roasted coffee. This doesn't have a grounds catch, as most hand coffee grinders do. So yeah, let's give it a shot. Now, to start off, I want to grind really coarse. I want to see what that can do. So we're just gonna screw it in. But I still want a pour over sort of setting. This is a first time grind, so we can try it and see how we go. As it's 15 grams, it'll also give us a good indication on how long it took to actually grind this. So let's load it up. Okay. That is at the top. It cannot get any fuller than that. So that's, yeah, let's see how we go. Oh, I'm seeing all sorts of grind sizes so far, and I feel like this is going to take a long time. But we're going to do it anyways. Make sure you subscribe. And we've stopped grinding. Definitely I can feel some feeding issues, and it's very discouraging how slow this goes. Every now and then it just stops feeding the beans through, and then you got to kind of just adjust it, and hopefully it will pick up again. I'll try and back up the grind size. Coffee smells good. This is our Colombian El Indio. So shameless plug, if you want to try this coffee, and hopefully you've got a better grinder to try it on, link in our description. My barista RSI wrists are not liking this. It's very much a one bean grinder. All right, we're having some issues with the feeding. This is really designed for smaller, oh, here we go. All right, we've got a good rhythm now. I'm not sure why.
3 days later.
That was rough. I've been grinding this for about 30-45 minutes, and I don't know if you can see with my arm veins right now, but I just had the workout of my lifetime, and I discovered muscles that I didn't know I had. So yeah, I don't recommend this. The most discouraging part about this entire ordeal isn't the physical aspect of grinding in that motion where, oh, we still got a little bit left. It's not the physical component, it's the mental component. It's seeing how shit of a product you're getting out and doing it for so long and slowly. It makes me appreciate any ceramic entry-level coffee grinder that has a similar burst set, but just buy a grinder. Don't do this. This is not a good idea. On a more serious note, this looks terrible. There's every single grind size that I've ever seen in my life, all in this cupping bowl. I know it's not going to taste good. I know exactly how it's going to taste. Now, my experience with this was, it was absolutely terrible at the very beginning, and then it just progressively got even worse. But yeah, at the beginning, it was rough. When I was dialing it in, and I say dialing in because there's a balance to this. Unlike any other grinder I've used, you have to go somewhat fine enough for the beads to feed in, yet somewhat coarse enough to actually lock into place and hold it. And I guess be able to hold into that grind size while you're grinding. So when you're grinding finer, it's a lot rougher, it's a lot tougher on the grinder, and I feel it kept slipping. So it was just this constant balance of changing grind sizes to get something that sort of locked into place. Towards the end, I feel like I found the perfect spot. It fed perfectly towards the end. Okay, who am I kidding? It fed semi-okay, much better than the beginning. However, it still did slip to the point where I have every single grind size in this cupping bowl right now. Another thing, when you're holding it, in order not to make a mess, you have to spin this part. So by doing that, your wrists are gonna go. If you do this and you hold on to here, hold on to the top and then spin the bottom, you just end up with what I have right now, which is a big mess on my table. But yeah, fun time. Let me know in the comments if I should return this to Kmart or not. If you wanna see more content like this, why? But also subscribe. And yeah, thanks so much. We'll see you next time.